Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Rick Brown. My guest today is Ken Coleman. Ken is the founder, president, and CEO of Lewis Price & Associates, a staffing agency that works with other businesses across the U.S. to provide staffing solutions in the areas of information technology, professional development training, administrative support, and some other high-demand positions. Ken's background spans more than 25 years in finance and accounting and other business fields with a focus on government contracting, which is a whole beast unto itself right there. Prior to founding Lewis Price, Ken was director of finance and operations for a multi-million-dollar Inc. 500 IT company. And in fact, in addition to his current role as CEO of Lewis Price, he has held positions of CFO, COO, and director at companies with annual revenues ranging upwards of $200 million. And if that weren't enough to keep a person busy in a day, Ken also sits on the board of directors for a grassroots nonprofit organization that exposes youth to media arts. And I've only just scratched the surface of Ken's biography here. Very impressive resume, Ken. I want to take this opportunity first to say thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us here on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Rick. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
You know, I think there's really a number of areas here that we could do a deep dive into based on your experience. I believe you've got a lot to share, the least of which is just kind of talking about building businesses in general. I think you've seen that from all angles. But I really want to talk today about what the staffing industry looks like as other businesses out there, small size, medium size, what have you, from the startup phase, as these businesses begin to grow, there is an extreme challenge there for these business owners to build their personnel, to build that staffing as they grow. And that can really take somebody's focus away from where they want it to be, just to try to bring in the right people. So I think that's where we really need to focus today. And let's just start by, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Lewis Price and how you're helping your clients?
Well, thanks a lot, Rick. I really appreciate it. Lewis Price, we are a company that is founded on two fundamental principles. Our core values are integrity and intention. And we do specialize in the areas of administrative support, program management, professional development and training, and IT support services. We work with our customers and clients. We like to take a holistic approach to helping them find the right solutions and the right fit for their organization. And what I mean by a holistic approach is actually talking with the customers and find out, what are they trying to do? And what do I mean by that? I mean that a lot of times when a company is growing, they have to decide, do they want to be a lifestyle company or do they want to be a company based on performance-based initiatives? And sometimes lifestyle companies, what people tend to do is they will fit the position to the person. But as a company grows and you are more performance-based, you need to identify the position that you're looking for and then find the right talent for that position. So we actually talk with our customers and walk through that process.
Can you kind of describe in a little more detail what you mean by lifestyle versus performance-based? Yes.
So a lifestyle company typically is a company where, let's just say they'll call it maybe the mom and pop shop type companies, where you have the one or two owners, you come in and you're more family oriented, and you kind of do things based on loyalty, but you want your growth to be just restricted to a certain amount. Maybe you don't want to go over the 50 people because now that changes your legal perspective and just different things when you have different HR rules in different states. So maybe you just want to stay there and you have more flexibility to do things with your company just what you want. You don't have to actually adhere to some of the other rules and regulations that are out there, so you have more control over what you can do with that. However, when you're trying to grow, if you want to be a more performance-based company, you promote people based on certain performance measures and key performance indicators, KPIs and things of that nature, and you actually find the people were based on what your company needs and where you see your company going, as opposed to a lifestyle company. I'm going to get my cousin because they're really nice to me and they're really loyal. They don't really have to have much experience because we're not trying to get to a higher level anyway. And I've had the lifestyle company before, and then you don't want it anymore, and so you have to grow and do other things. Yeah. So it's really understanding what the customer wants.
Yeah, and that transition right there between the two is probably one of the biggest challenges a business owner will face. But so Lewis Price is, in your mind, I'm certain, the ideal agency to help with those kind of staffing solutions. But describe kind of what the ideal client is for the services you provide. What does that client look like?
Well, the ideal client is a client that knows exactly what they want, but that's not always the case. But we service the entire gambit between the federal government, the commercial sectors, which is other companies like Lewis Price. It could be, local government. And what we want to do, though, in order to have the best working relationship with our customers, is they have to have the ability to communicate with us and talk to us about their needs, because we really hold true to what our values are, which is intention and integrity. If we say we're going to do something for you, we're going to make every effort to do that for you and do it the right way and the most cost-efficient and effective way possible. So as long as that customer is willing to talk and communicate with us and actually tell us what they're looking for and the type of person they're trying to fill, then that's ideal for us.
So what then are those questions that a business owner may not even know to ask, or what is it that they need to kind of understand in terms of working with a staffing company?
Well, they should ask the staffing company, what type of company are they? Some staffing companies just do direct placement. Some do temporary work. Some people do temp to hire. So really, what's the specialty area for that staffing company? Because it doesn't make sense, and maybe what industry that they're working in. Doesn't make sense if your primary industry is, let's say, nursing, but you go to someone who staffs more in IT. What are their key focus of the areas of expertise that you focus in on the talent that you're getting? And, those are the main questions that you have to ask.
Yeah, good. So what are, in your eyes, the advantages of using a staffing agency like Lewis Price versus doing it on your own and hiring through your own HR process, if that even exists in your company?
Right. One of the biggest things that we're really happy is that we can help increase efficiency of operations and actually also continuity of operations. Internal HR is definitely separate from recruiting individuals. The internal HR, they can spend their time and focus on the engagement of their current team members and their current employees, whereas we can use our resources and our skill sets to go and find your next team member. We will act as the first introduction to your company. So we want to understand what your culture is. We want to know what type of person is the best fit for within your culture and for the work that's being done there. So that's how you can utilize us, and we have those resources to do that. So basically, you have more efficiency to utilize your HR department to effectively manage and engage your current team members.
So then it occurs to me, as you're saying this, that not only then are you working with a company who needs to staff their own team, but you're also working with other individuals who you are going to help place, right? So you're kind of working with both sides?
Absolutely, because unlike traditional staffing companies, we do see ourselves as a career development company. So we do work with individuals to find out what they're trying to do and what's the next iteration of their next step of their life, if you will, when it comes to their professional career. So we work with both sides and do our best to do that. We have people, our team members, they have degrees from Harvard, University of Maryland. They, just all different types of varying backgrounds and skill sets. And so we like to work with the team of individuals who are looking for work as well as companies, because that's the way you can get the best fit, because you understand both sides of it.
What do you see as some of the biggest myths or misconceptions about using a staffing agency or about the staffing solutions industry as a whole?
Well, one of the biggest myths is that it's very expensive, that it's too expensive to use a staffing company. It's that we can do it ourselves quicker and easier. So that's a big myth, because what happens is the whole staffing situation and recruiting for a new team member is the entire process that you go through. And until you actually have to do it when you're with the company, it's very difficult to understand what that process is. Since we've done it and we're doing it for not just ourselves, we've done it for other customers and agencies, we have a process that's in place that's easy to adjust and adapt to whatever need our clients have. And so they will find out that actually it's less expensive for them to actually utilize us because of the amount of time that we can actually shorten that lag time of unproductivity by not having somebody in a position.
Ken, are you able to describe in a very broad context what that looks like in terms of a company identifying the need and then coming to you and you fulfilling that need?
Yes, it can happen in different ways. In the government contracting space, it's not uncommon for, let's say, a company, they win an opportunity. They win an opportunity at a different location that might not be where their corporate office is. You know, maybe it's their corporate offices in New York and they win a contract where they have people that'll be in California. So from that standpoint, when you go into the different states, you go into the different rules. So we also provide, okay, these are different rules and guidelines you have. These are the labor laws that you have with that. So we provide an HR function for our team members also. We need to find out, like, what's the timing that you have. Sometimes you have contract commitments that you have to hire people within 20 days of you getting the contract. So we lay out all those requirements that are there to make sure that we meet those deadlines. There's typically a transition plan. If there were other people already in place, we'll help them do the research to find out who those other team members were who were already on that contract, that you can ask them to have the right of first refusal. So we walk through the process, so it's tailored, and so it really just depends. I can talk about it all day long, because there's different scenarios and different things that come up. So,
can you kind of share an example of how you've helped one of your clients overcome this whole challenge and succeed in what they were trying to do?
Absolutely. We had a government contracting customer. They actually won a contract in Hawaii. This contract, they were located on the East Coast, so they didn't have a presence in Hawaii at all. And they were tasked with having to fill 30 IT positions, different network administrators, program management positions, and things of that particular nature. So what we did was we came up with a plan with them and figured out the date the contract started, the number of people that were needed. We came up with the plan and how will we interview the people. So we came up with, well, we need to fly there. Should we do Skype interviews? We came up with the way that was manageable for the customer to be able to do that. And we also found out who the incumbent contractors were. We were able to figure out what their pay scale was for them, help them figure out what the proper compensation plan would be to transition and be able to retain the people who are already on that plan. We helped them come up with different incentive plans and packages that might be acceptable, and came up with a presentation package to actually do the onboarding for that customer. So we actually operated the full back office for them until they came on board. The new people came on board with the customer.
So it's quite involved and something that I go back to, as a startup or a small business, as you described earlier, is kind of that lifestyle company where it's maybe sole proprietor or a very small team. I can see where trying to go down this road on your own is probably a challenge far too great for many to take on.
Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely. You don't know what you need till you need it. But It's really difficult for one person to do it.
So how many states have you placed staffing in?
We currently have team members in over 15 states.
So you guys are based in Virginia. And by the way, I'd be remiss if I don't mention that Lewis Price was awarded the 2018 Best of Alexandria Award in Best Services category last year. So kudos to you for that. And really, this just highlights that location here is not really a factor for you in terms of working with clients and placing staffing, but rather it's something that you kind of embrace in terms of being able to reach people all across the country.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. We're definitely proud of the award, a win from Alexandria. It's a tribute to how much we do value our customers and actually talk and communicate with our customers on a daily basis if necessary to make sure that we can provide them anything that they need. And you're right, location is not an issue. Actually, we love the challenge of actually going to other locations, and our goal is to be able to say that we've placed someone in all 50 states and the territories of the United States. So we're moving forward to be able to do that, and we can help.
So Ken, tell me, what inspired you to get this all started? What inspired you to start Lewis Price?
You know what? I guess what inspired me is being able and coming through the ranks of companies and having good bosses, if you will, for mentors, for best practices and also practice of not what you should not do. They gave me exposure to different ideas and resources, and I always had the ability to move up. And I guess this is just the next iteration of my career development, is that I've always been in a position that I've gotten to like the second. I've been like not necessarily at the top, but the second one there. And I've done great things working with those companies, but I felt like, you know what, if I started my own, I can do even greater things. And not just that, but also have a say in how we give back to the community, because I'm really big on having corporate responsibility and community give back. And being in a position starting Lewis Price allows me to do that also. So it allows me to get engrossed into a profession that I actually like and also have the ability to create change at a corporate level.
And I also understand that there is some significance behind the name of the company, Lewis Price, right? Can you share that?
Absolutely. Lewis Price. The name of the company is from the name of my two grandfathers, Theodore Lewis and Walter Price. Those two are the pillars and two of the greatest men that I've ever met. And intention and integrity definitely speaks who they are. They were two very different men with the same way of thinking about life. And that is, if you're nothing more than your word. So if you say you're going to do something, have every intention on doing the best that you can with it and do it.
That's pretty awesome right there. Can you share a lesson that perhaps you learned early on that still impacts how you do business today? A mistake you made on your own or some obstacle you had to overcome that has led you to where you are today and how you conduct your business?
I remember early on in my career, I got a position. I was actually administrative assistant to the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. And with that position, it gave me access and privy to a lot of confidential information. So I learned at a very young period in my career that when you have that type of responsibility, there's an expectation of how you must hold true to that responsibility and keep that information, private. And I'm going to say I would have fired myself. So basically, essentially, I had access to people's pay, and so I went to my boss and said, I should get more money because they make more money too. And so I learned that you can't use information that you have access to for your own, doing your own advantage. You can't do it based on that. I learned it, and because my boss at the time actually talked through it with me, whereas now I would probably fire the person who did that to me. But they actually gave me that chance. I learned at a very young age in my career to make sure that that trust factor is there, and which is why integrity is a big core value that I have to this day.
That's a great story, and certainly something that I'm sure you're not the only one that's ever been through that scenario. So that's a good share. Anything else about business building? If you could kind of share your one piece of advice that folks should understand just in terms of starting a business, building a business. Like I said, you've kind of seen this from all angles. You've covered, the gamut of the C-suite. What is it that people need to understand as they try to start a business and build a business, get it to a point where everybody kind of dreams about getting their own business? What is it they need to understand?
You have to understand that you have to build quality relationships throughout the process because, it's an old saying, but it holds true to this day. It's who you know that'll get you there, but what you know will keep you there. So you have to build those relationships with people that's on, trust, and you have to have honest intentions, and you have to make sure your integrity is there. So you have to make sure you understand your core values first before you can offer anything to anyone.
Yeah, that's powerful. Understanding your own core values and building those relationships, very important.
Absolutely. And, active listening is a part of that, communication and active listening, because, we hear a lot what people are saying, but when you actively listen, you actually understand it. You can let them know that. And it's something about when a customer feels that you actually understand what they're looking for, you see their vision and understand it, then that builds lasting relationships there and repeat business.
So what do you suppose is the most important question somebody should ask themselves as they consider working with a staffing agency like Lewis Price?
We are ready, and we're very serious about what we do. And so if you're just thinking about it, it's probably not the best thing for us. You really have to understand what you are looking for and what you need and be able to communicate that.
I appreciate that, Ken. How can somebody find out more about Lewis Price and how you can help them?
You can go to our website, www.lewisprice.com. We're also on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook, and we also have a YouTube page, so you can check us out.
Great, and we'll share all of this contact information as well in the description of this podcast online. Ken, Max Dupree, whose family founded one of this country's oldest and most iconic office furniture companies, the Herman Miller Furniture Company. Max said, "The first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. The last is to say thank you. In between, the leader is a servant." So, Ken, based on that, I want to say thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to talk with me today and to share those insights, not only of how a staffing company like Lewis Price can help other growing companies, but also just for your insights into leadership and building a business in general. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me, Rick.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Business Innovators Radio. I'm your host, Rick Brown. Till we talk again, remember that true leadership must be for the benefit of the followers. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.